Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. I hope that the lighting is okay. It was just such a nice day. I want to open up the back door and got some birds going out there, so you might hear some chirpy chirps and all sorts of other stuff, and hopefully it doesn't rain, but it's sunny, although it was raining a little bit earlier and despite the sun. But anyway, but today I want to talk about the long road to Linux. I want to talk about this just in light of a few different changes. We're going to go ahead and do all of our content first for the people that catch the show afterwards, and then we'll hang out as long as we have comments to go, or about around noon, whichever happens to come first. I don't think my content is super long here, but what I did want to talk about is I want to talk about switching to Linux, why it's a problem that we live in this microwave culture, and why your switch should actually be a lot slower than some people may take it for. And that is an important principle because there's this, we live in this culture that is so microwave centric. We want everything now. We want everything instant. We're thinking, okay, I'm going to dump Windows. That means I can never touch Windows again and move to Linux. And then you get frustrated and say, oh, Linux sucks, and just go back and be a corporate slave again to the Gatemeister. Or even worse, the Cookmeister. I'm not sure which one's worse. But anyway, I wanted to talk about switching to Linux, how you do it, and the primary motivation for this is Switch to Linux here, and I've been running this channel for 5 years, and I have slowly been moving everything over to the point where right now, the last piece of software that I have needed to use, the last piece of software I needed to use was finally replaced. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and the process and things. Now, before we do that, we are going to start by saying that the first thing we want to do is ask, why might we want to switch to Linux? Why should we consider a switch to Linux? All right. And so there's a few reasons we might want to do that. Number one is actually the cost. As we look around at different computers, right now Windows is pushing Windows 11, and then they're watermarking his computers. You don't have compatible hardware. What's the implication? Well, dump this hardware that is working perfectly fine and go and spend a lot more money in the middle of a chip shortage on another computer. Well, that makes about as much sense as everything else Microsoft does, you know, like laying off their entire QA team, which is what they have done. But you might want to switch to Linux because it does actually cost less. All of the computers that I have bought in the last 5 years since I have been using Linux have all been used or at a significant discount, and they all work perfectly fine. That's the thing. Because I can get away with paying less for a computer and still getting more out of it because I'm not forced into upgraded hardware because the company wants me to. Or in the case of Mac, okay, I need a new computer, or I just have something that should be a quick and simple fix. Like, let's talk about a charging port. That should be very quick and easy to fix on any computer. I know I bought a laptop recently and the charging port was a little bit wonky. I bought a charging port on Amazon for $10 and it cost me 20 minutes of time to replace it. It's not complicated. All the documentation is out there. And take that same Mac to an Apple repair shop. Well, you got to replace the Mac. And now they're wanting you to pay thousands of dollars because nothing but a charge port is dead. You might want to control your operating system. Windows and Mac both do things. They just start to do a lot of things in the background, like, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Like, dude, stop. But, you know, we cannot, starting with Windows 10, been backported, of course, Windows 10, Windows 11, you cannot not share that data. You cannot turn on your computer and have it not be collecting and harvesting all this telemetry data and sending back to Microsoft. Well, this is just to make the operating system better. Really? Windows 10 and Windows 11 have been the worst, most buggy, least supported operating systems Windows has done in a long time. It seems to me like things were working really well under the good old days. And I do remember the blue screens of death and things like that, but we were able to get resolves for these things without the computer collecting mass amounts of data. It's like the government dragnetting all of our data, dumping everything into a giant pile of stuff. The problem is you have so much information, you don't even know where to begin to sort it all out. So you might want to have control back over your operating system. You might not want it to require an online Microsoft account to log in. You may not want it to send out telemetry. You have those options with Linux. Of course, privacy is a big factor. Some people are starting to wake up and realize that even though I don't really have anything to hide, as it were, I still don't want to be giving all this information up to people because it is being turned around. It is being used in inappropriate places. It is getting sold to governments to violate our Fourth Amendment rights through sales rather than them going out and spying themselves. They're going to go ahead and just be like, hey, let's go ahead and, we'll just buy the data instead. Then it's not spying on you. It's the company's spying on you. Okay. That's exciting. You might just want to get away from big tech. You might look around the world and go, I just don't want to, give more money into big tech's pockets any more than I have to. So what are the ways we can get away with that? Well, one of the good ways we can get away with that is switch to Linux. I'm not beholden to Microsoft for anything. I'm not forced into an Office 365 account. I'm not forced into a Microsoft Online account. I'm not forced into paying Microsoft, even through a proxy, a license fee for Windows 11 or 10 or anything else at this point in time. I want to keep as far away from big tech as I possibly can, and Linux has allowed me to do that. So let's talk about testing the waters. So we want to test the waters first. We don't want to just dive right on in. I mean, it could be a pool full of sharks, and in Linux, sometimes it is. Got to learn how to swim with those sharks a little bit before you dive right on in. So there are going to be steps you're going to compromise on. There's not Linux itself. Generally, like if you look at a good operating system like Linux Mint, Manjaro is a good example. Endeavor OS is good, though they've had a few bumps in the road lately. There's a lot of Linux distributions that are out there that are just really good and they work really well. But you still are going to have to compromise a little bit because what makes big tech so successful is that they have made things so convenient. And when you sit down and say, convenience, this is so convenient, oh, you're paying a steep price for that convenience. And we've always paid a price for convenience. I can go out to the auto parts store, I can buy all the materials I need, and I can go through the annoying process of changing my oil, or I can pay 2 to 3 times more and go and have some shop do it for me. I'm paying for convenience. Oftentimes, we don't realize the price of our convenience is our personal and private data. So we do have to be willing to compromise a few things. The first thing, the first compromise, I remember when I'm first excited to get started on Linux. Of course, I'm this web developer, and I got this suite of software. And I paid my $1,000 for my Adobe suite. And I want to keep using my Adobe suite. And how do we get Microsoft Office on here? And so I'm doing accounting with QuickBooks. How do I do all this kind of stuff? And the problem is I was thinking software, not solution. You got to go back and think about the task you want to accomplish. The task you want to accomplish. Think about the solution, not the software. The software is a tool. It is a means to get there. And I hear the objections. All people are giving me, well, this requires this. Somebody left a comment the other day. I did a GNU Cache video, and somebody left a comment on there the other day and said, well, I wanted to switch away from QuickBooks, but all these accountants use it. It's a very simple solution, okay? Grow yourself a nutsack, walk into your accountant's office, and say, I'm using an open source software platform. If you can't use that, you're fired. Put on that Donald Trump red hat. MAGA man, you're fired. Because I got news for you. My accountant, and I've had accountants that are like, I want the QuickBooks file. My current accountant right now, who is an amazing accountant, he's like, I don't care. I don't need your QuickBooks file. He says, I need a P&L. I need a basic explanation of what you're doing. Because I got a good accountant. and you can find a good accountant. You don't have to do QuickBooks. You don't have to be holding yourself to the data collection of unlawful Intuit, who, by the way, just had to pay a multi-million-dollar settlement for absolutely ripping off mostly poor people. I'm not enriching that stupid company. But I'm thinking, oh, how do I get QuickBooks running on this? You don't worry about it. You switch to GNU Cache. There's a few other applications out there as well. I looked at accounting. I might still have the files for accounting laying around. If I do, I might do a little video on it. I kind of abandoned it for a couple reasons. They're sort of annoying me a little bit. There were some good things about it, though, as well. But there's a lot of solutions for that. Think about the Adobe software. Oh, I have to use Photoshop. Why? Because you need to Photoshop a picture? You can Photoshop a picture with GIMP. I'm going to GIMP shot my picture instead. I'm going to GIMP it up. We just need to start by changing some of our adjectives. Google it. Don't Google it. Do an internet search. Don't Photoshop it. Edit it in a video editing software. And there's, of course, we understand that there are going to be people with jobs that absolutely the job requires it. Yeah, that's one of those things that you got to do. You got to do what TechLore does, right? They have a whole separate suite of software and some of this crazy spy type stuff, but it's dedicated on their specific business stuff. Henry himself doesn't have any of that stuff. Okay. These are the things that you have to think about, but think about the task you're trying to accomplish and not the software, because the software is the tool. The software is not the ends. It is the means to the ends. The end is the task. It is the solution. And you have to start examining those. A good place to go is Alternative 2, where you can type in something like Photoshop and it gives you all the different alternatives, paid and free and proprietary and open source and subscription and non-subscription. It'll give you all those different options so you can float it around. So you want to test out the waters. That's how we got into our point 2. How do we test out the waters? Well, there's a couple different ways. The first is a second computer. And you say, well, I can barely afford my first computer. Well, we're not talking about something amazing. We're talking going to Craigslist and pay somebody, $100 for the old computer they're getting rid of because it's like, I can't update Windows anymore. I'm getting these watermarks, so I have to upgrade Windows. That'll work perfect with several Linux distributions. Check out pawn shops, check out thrift stores, check out Amazon, and you don't need anything big or amazing, just something to test the waters. Now, if a second computer is certainly out of question for your budget, and for many of you it is, you can test it out with a variety of other tools. I should have gotten my visual aids handy, but, I have a box of thumb drives here. And a box of thumb drives is an excellent thing to do. You can run Linux and install it specifically on a thumb drive. I have an entire tutorial about how to do that. Also, you can run Linux on an external hard drive. So if you have an external hard drive, that works. I mean, that's the best solution if you cannot afford a second computer, the external hard drive. If you can't do an external hard drive, a USB drive is cheap. You need to use a USB 3 or 3.1 drive. You need to have a USB 3 drive on your computer. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look up how to run Linux on it. And one of my top videos on my channel itself is actually a video about how to do that. And with that video, I'm going to find my popular uploads list here. So if you head on over to the YouTube channel at Switch to Linux and hit my popular uploads, just sort my videos by popular, and you can see my 4th popular video, how to install Linux to a USB drive. This is a good video here about how you can try out Linux on a USB drive. And we're not talking about a live key. Some people misconstrue a live key or a live key with a persistent drive versus actually installing Linux to the USB drive. There's differences there, and I talk about those differences in this video and some other videos as well. So just be aware that those are ways that you can try it out. So you're going to want to spin things into Linux. Give it a test. So, okay, you're done with your day job type work, or you're done with the things that you have to do on Windows because, your accounting is all there, the letters you're writing, everything's there. It's like, okay, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to relax. I'm going to watch some videos. I hope you're not subscribing to like Netflix or Disney Plus or something. Watch like YouTube videos or BitChute or Rumble or Library, anything like that. Just shut down your Windows computer, boot up your Linux computer, and guess what? You can do all that stuff on the Linux computer. And it works great. And then start thinking, okay, well, I'm watching a video here. Let me pull up another window over here and let's start playing around with some of these Office Suite softwares. Maybe I can move all those personal letters I'm writing over to LibreOffice or OnlyOffice or, there's so many different free Office suites out there. I can't even keep track of them anymore. I'm a LibreOffice guy just because as a professional writer as well, LibreOffice is the one that is most used because it allows us to format books and things for publishers and printers. But that is what you want to do. Test out the waters. Now, the next thing you might want to do is look around at those solutions. Remember those solutions you're trying to solve instead of the software. Look around for cross-platform solutions and install those onto your existing computer and slowly move your workflow over to those to get used to them. Okay, and so with that, so if you're using Microsoft Office a lot, install LibreOffice on your computer. Get used to using LibreOffice, and if you have to boot something into Microsoft Office for some reason, you still have it running concurrently, but you're slowly moving over to LibreOffice. And then eventually what's going to happen is you're going to be so comfortable with LibreOffice, you're going to look back to Microsoft Office and go, okay, well, at least LibreOffice isn't annoying me about writing in Postman and saying, excuse me, this could be offensive. You should do Postal Person instead, whatever the crappy non-woke stuff they're trying to do in Microsoft right now. True story. It's not enabled by default, granted, but it will be soon, I'm sure. But you can slowly move your software over to the new flow. And then once you have figured out your solutions and run them on cross-platform systems, it becomes very easy for you later on to just make the switch to Linux because all the software you've been playing with are all there. That's it. They're all there. It's awesome. And so that is really the case. Now, the reason I want to do this video is, as I said, the last piece of software that I was forced to use for my web design company has been completely replaced, and that was, of course, the ever-present QuickBooks. And for 5 years, I've been running this channel, and as the revenue stream from the channel started coming in, I've been using GNU Cache on the channel's accounting. And that way I got a chance to test it and try it out and, run it through my accountant for a few years and just make sure everything is working. And this year, the beginning of this year, I finally made the switch over. So right now, this year, I'm doing exactly what I'm doing here. I'm not completely abandoning QuickBooks yet, mostly for some of the historical data. But right now, I'm concurrently doing all of my accounting twice. I'm doing it once in QuickBooks. I'm doing it once in GNU Cache. And then as I do this, at the end of the year, we're going to have a look at the numbers. Everything should be perfectly fine. Starting in 2023, no more QuickBooks for my business. Everything will be converted over to Linux. That's the last piece of software holding on to the old Windows workflow. At that point in time, I will be 100% onto Linux. And that is the long road. As I said, 5 years to get here, guys. 5 years. And that is how your process should go, because I've always been a crockpot person. So I thought it'd be fun to go back through, particularly for some of you guys. I see some questions in the comments here. We are going to get to those at the end. So if you just jumped on, we will get to your comments at the end. I just want to get a long thing for the people that don't want to hang out for the comments. But I thought it would be fun by ending this video by looking at the channel over the years, because, oh boy, is this cringeworthy. So we had a few different old videos. Here's why another Linux channel video here. This is why I wear a hat now, Of course, look at that smooth baby face. This one here might be one of my records for the lowest view count on all videos. Fedora 24 VirtualBox setup on a Mac. 151 views. That video needs a few loves. Fedora 24 VirtualBox setup on Mac. If you want to watch that one, trust me, it's going to be bad. It's going to be cringeworthy. I'd watch it go, oh, this guy's an idiot. I'm sure. Let's see. We have another award here. The earliest video that I did with a substantial view count. We'll call substantial view count over 5,000. We have G-Thumb Overview. I don't even remember doing that video. Oh, this is done on I literally had an old Skull Candy. Is it the same one I have in here? No, I think that set died. It's an old Skull Candy headphones. That's what I That's what I had there. So there's that. Okay, the OpenSUSE tumbleweed overview. You can't see it here, but this was the first video I had that crossed 1,000 views. OpenSUSE tumbleweed overview. That was a video, first video that crossed over 1,000 views. LibreWriter overview, GIMP tutorials. You can see back in these days, not a lot, but then of course you get introduction to the Cinnamon desktop environment, 35,000. That's nice. Very cool. Well, thanks guys. Why I switched to Linux. Look at the old tinfoil hat series. I got to bring that series back. I know I've said I'd got to bring it back a few times. It was a lot of work. I got to get into it. I got to find the workflow to bring tinfoil hat time back. Bring back tinfoil hat time. That's what we must do. Here's booting a computer off a USB drive. Just under, oh man, that just needs 4 more views, guys, to get across that 1,000 mark. Let's see. Channel introduction. Scamming the scammers. Oh yeah, I did a few scamming the scammers. Can't remember if this is the one where I was literally setting up to do another video and the scammer called me. So I already had all the recording equipment. I just pushed record and picked up the phone. That might be that one there. So it was kind of fun in that respect. Oh, look at that. My take on the election. That one had fewer than 100 views. So, okay, that's probably good. Don't watch that one, probably. Might make some of y'all mad. I don't know. Pros and cons of elementary OS. Of course, everything with elementary OS always gets a lot of views. I don't know what it is. I'd have a whole channel specifically geared towards it. There you go. ISP lobbyists want more data. Wow. 75 views. Man, there's actually been some things that... oh, look at this. My 100 subscriber video only has 88 views. 100 subscribers. Thanks, guys. What are we at now? We're at 56,000. That's pretty cool. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for hanging out. This crazy, ranting, raving lunatic. Okay. Creating and connecting to your own home VPN. There you go. That's exciting. There's some old news stuff. Dumbed down Pi technology. One thing I should do for the tinfoil hat time. I should go back through the old tinfoil hat times and I should re-release them again with updated data. That would be fun. Yeah, we've done a lot of fun stuff. We did some outdoor things as well. Oh, I liked this. I like that thing there, the DRMSOR. Yeah, it's been a crazy few years. Oh, there's Toss. Where's that video go? There's me and Toss hanging out. There's another one with Toss. And let's have a look at the top videos. Top 5 Linux distributions for 2018. What do we have? We had Peppermint. All right, let's talk about these ones, I guess. Peppermint, still good. They made a radical change lately where they're no longer Ubuntu-based. And it caused them to become less user-friendly. Still good, just a lot less user-friendly. Debian, of course, is always good to use, good stability. Ubuntu, I would probably avoid that one at this point in time. I can't think of a distribution that has been more problematic in some cases. Manjaro, I'd still put up there, and Linux Mint, of course, I'd still put up there. All right, 2019, we had Arch Labs. I've not heard much about Arch Labs lately. I think Endeavor OS, Arco Linux, and things kind of pushed Arch Labs to the side. Elementary OS. Oh, Lord. Why did I put Elementary on the top distro? Solus. All right. Manjaro and Linux Mint. The Extern OS. That was a fun one. pfSense. Fixing this EFI booting issues. Windows 10 versus Linux Mint. And the Ubuntu, the end of an era. Yeah, those are the kind of the top videos there. So it's been a really fun 5 years, guys. I look forward to another 5, and who knows, maybe we'll cross that 100,000 subscriber mark sometime soon. I don't know. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get to your comments, and then we will get on out of here. Alrighty, let's see. Hello from Germany. Greetings, Germany. How are you? How to be a Linux veteran. There you go. People said Vista wasn't that buggy. Okay, so Vista was extraordinarily buggy when it first came out. Once you got SP2 on it, it was actually very solid. Vista, once it was fully updated and mature, was just as solid as 7. How well does Mint handle NVIDIA/Intel hybrid graphics? All right, so when you are installing Linux Mint, there is actually an option in the boot menu that you can specifically select NVIDIA graphics. So if you do that, it's going to load the proprietary NVIDIA graphics drivers so that if your computer does have NVIDIA, it should work just fine. So it will handle it just fine. Just be aware that you will have to you'll have to specifically select the NVIDIA. Intel has always been integrated in the kernel. So integrated Intel graphics are not going to be a problem. It's just the NVIDIA, but there is an option for that in the Linux boot menu. The task, no interruptions when I'm editing by updates. There you go. I'm going from AMD A6 64K A6 series, Richland Cool dual core 3.9 gig to FM 65 watt. And Radeon HD desktop processor to Ryzen 5, just going sideways on the gigahertz. Oh, you will absolutely enjoy that change. Skipped Vista. Computer was too weak for it. Yeah. Gags the GIMP. Gags the GIMP. That's right. Just general support on a specific task. All right. Yeah. Okay. AMD A8 5500, simple, small, 8 gig limited memory, just fine. It was on 58. Yeah, actually, before moving into the van, my media PC was running on an AMD A8 5500. It worked beautifully. It was fine. It was a good computer. I think I paid $300 for it, maybe, brand new, and it worked really well. Of course, right now I don't have any of those huge big tower computers with me except for the streaming one. So that's actually a micro PC with better specs. I think that one is, I think I'm an 8 gigs of RAM and it's a Core i5, I think, is in that one. Hello, the Anchorage. Greetings. He says hello to the kitties. There you go. The kitty says, greetings, greetings, rub my belly. All right. Bought my laptop for $40 because it was old and the guy sold it to me. Couldn't find the Wi-Fi drivers for it anymore for Windows, but Debian had them out of the box. Yep. Awesome. Very cool. Last build is still purring like a kitten. Just do better cable management and swap cases. Make it my unofficial server. Yeah, cable management in the van's fun. I actually have it pretty well down. I actually ordered a shorter cable. My big problem was my Kodi box is literally a foot away from my HDMI switcher, and so I have this long cable wrapped around. I'm like, I had to order a few things on Amazon. Like, hey, let's throw on this 18-inch HDMI cable. So I'm gonna run that through and solve some cable management that way. Use a number of tutorials from here. They work great. Well, thank you, man. Can you explain why I'm not able to install Steam in Parrot OS? Is some dependencies which are i386 not going to be installed? Can you explain what's the problem? I can't, unfortunately. I have not used Parrot, and Steam is not something I install a lot. Here's what I will tell you. There is a all-in-one. No, that was Play on Linux. I was gonna say, was that Steam or not? Does Steam available on a flat pack or anything like that? I don't know. So I can't really help with that without actually seeing it, unfortunately, because it's so okay. Yeah, Michael has that idea there. Yes, you may need to enable i386 Arch. That is something that was disabled in some Linux distributions. Re-enabling it did allow you to fix some of those things. Yeah, it's something I'd have to look into deeply. Used one particular tutorial to install Mint on a USB stick. I later cloned it to my latest daily driver. Still have the stick, although I gave the machine to a relative. Very cool. ParrotOS isn't recommended as a daily driver. Even in Debian, you still need to enable i386 in order to install Steam. Yeah, it's not difficult to do. For pen testing, gaming, Garuda is better, but I'm not a gamer. Yeah. Dolly, do it for the plones. Gamers may equal need more FPS. I can only dream to get more than 100 subs. Everyone, sub to Anchorage. Let's see. So I have to enable i386 repo or something. Yeah, as he set up here, sudo depackage add architecture i386 an update. I've had to do that before. It might have been a Steam. I have somewhere around floating around here. I have a hard drive that is, it's a hard drive specifically dedicated for that. So, let's see. I can only dream to get more than 100. So let's see. I read that one. Yeah, I wouldn't use Parrot for daily driver, but they got 32-bit packages on a Debian distro. Yep. Yeah, that is exactly what I've done as well. Hello, Anna Rita. Greetings. Folding laundry and listening to you because why not being flexible is a good skill. Again, there you go. Let me see. And yes, you already realize you can do most work like normal stuff on ParrotOS, but can you guys recommend me the best gaming distribution? I'm not a gamer personally, but I'll tell you that Arch generally is going to have good support. There's been a lot of people talking about Garuda lately. I'm using Endeavor OS on my Arch computer. I don't game on it, but it is something that works. And so, anybody else have gaming ideas? List them here, particularly if you're gamers. Had you install a custom kernel to get NVIDIA card to work on Mint? Unusual. Yeah, that might depend on which ones you had on. If I had a YouTube channel, I would delete old videos. Information is no longer valid, but I understand you need to make a bit of money on them too. Yeah, I mean, one thing to do is to go ahead and just update them. Thou shalt tempt thy kataz. I didn't miss Thursday's tempting. I don't do it on the Switch to Linux stream. This is New Hampshire, some rocks on the Linux Mint, LMDE. Tempt thy kataz. Seeing these 32-bit lives. I just wish LMDE didn't have dropped the Mate version. You can install Mate on it. It may not look as good. I don't know. Where are them there kitty treats? Whoa, we got kitty treats. The kitties are like, dude, kitty treats. Kitty treats. Yeah, I'm throwing stuff at you, kitty cat. Don't touch it. I don't know if the other kitty's coming or not. Oh, other kitty's coming. Like, how do I get in that bag? All right. Let's see. Steam 32-bit reminds me of Linus from LTT. Gamers who tried Steam OS itself. How'd you hear about the NVIDIA open source drivers? Salbu sent it to me, and it was also on one of the news threads. I forget exactly which news thread I saw it on. There's a Linux, is there a Linux community in New Hampshire? Once you know how any distro can be used for gaming, rolling releases are usually better because they're more up-to-date packages. Wife just got home with a friend of hers, and her friend looked at the TV and went, Anna, what are you watching cat videos? I've only stockpiled freebie games using Steam, Epic, and Atrid VCS. I play one PC game somewhat regularly on my video production machine. There you go. Yep. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up here. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Let me know in the comments if we should do some more live streams. I'd kind of like to bring some live streams back onto the channel, but we'll see. Apparently, I can stream a little bit more than I initially thought. I was going to run into more bandwidth problems, but I've actually only run out of bandwidth once so far. But anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. We will see you guys next time, and enjoy.